No matter what you want to create, whether it is a Facebook post, Instagram post, or maybe a long blog post, or a video, or a podcast like this, you need ideas. And the best way to get idea is not to get hit by a lightning or something. It is to create process and systems in place so that you can have ideas time to time. And Brainstorm is the amazing way you can get lots of ideas. So in this episode of the ImpleBooks Podcast, I will share 3 ways you can brainstorm and get a lot of ideas. So let's get started. The point number 1 is schedule time and place for your ideas. This is what I learned from the book Atomic Habits, and which is a beautiful book by James Clear. What it says that if you want to build a habit, you need to schedule some time or place for this. And it is similar for the brainstorming as well. Suppose you want to brainstorm and you are thinking that, okay, hey, I will do it like the later or the end of the day, or maybe I will do it when I wake up. But you are not sure that when you will do it, you need to schedule the time on your calendar and you need to stick to it. And it is a very good idea if you set up a place for that as well. So instead of like doing that task at 8 a.m., tell yourself that I will be sitting at the sofa and I will be doing it at the 8 a.m. Make sure there is no distraction at the place and you're always sticking to the calendar. Point number 2 is use productive downtime. There might be time when you are standing at the queue of any shopping mall, or maybe you are waiting for someone. You can pull up your phone and start writing ideas, but it is very hard. If you just constantly push yourself, it is going to be sometimes feel chaotic, right? So it will be like, hey, I'm just forcing myself to do some stuff. Whenever I'm sitting I'm waiting for someone, or maybe I'm just and at the toilet, what I basically do is that I pull out my phone, I pull out this application called Pocket, where I basically save all the articles that I save it for later. I just go through this article, just the headlines or some of the gist of the article, and I try to question myself that, hey, is this something that I already know, or is there something that I already know but it is a new information added to that? If I find this kind of stuff, I just quickly open my Google Keep and I just write this idea down there. So I don't force myself to have ideas, but I create the environment that way so that I have more ideas, right? And also just James Clear on the book Atomic Habits says that if you are able to create environments which will help you to do a specific task, that will really immensely help you in the long term as well. Suppose you want to play guitar, but you keep your guitar in the wardrobe. That's not going to solve your problem. You need to put it in front of your eyes. So this way you need to create environments. What I basically do is that every time I find something interesting to read, I put this on the application called Pocket, save it for later. When I'm free, maybe I'm standing in the queue, or maybe I'm at the toilet, I just pull out this application and try to read all the articles, go through the articles and see if I can find ideas which I already know and some new information added to that. And that brings a lot of ideas, I would say. And most of the podcast ideas I get on the toilet, not from the toilet. So don't unsubscribe to this podcast. And the point number 3 is ask question to your ideas. What I basically previously used to do is that when I used to brainstorm, like suppose I have written 5 to 10 ideas, and not all days are same, right? So sometimes I may have like pool of ideas, like 20-25 ideas. Some days I get like 1, 2, 3, right? And it becomes better when you practice more. But the days when I can't get any ideas, I just sit there, maybe I come up with only one idea, which sort of like I come up with yesterday as well, right? So what I basically do is that I question this idea. I question these ideas that I get. Suppose I come up with like 5 ideas only. I just start questioning those ideas, like, hey, how it can solve other problems, how it can solve my problem, how it is solving my problem, and at what situation I was in when it solved my problem, and or maybe what it can change or add significant improvement to my life. And this kind of questions brings a lot of other stuff from which I can generate ideas. Let me give you an example. So today I was not supposed to making this podcast. I was supposed to make this podcast called the 5 ways you can get more ideas, right? Which I will be creating tomorrow. But when I question this idea, like what are the 5 ways, there was one way is called brainstorm. So I called question this point, that brainstorm, how I can brainstorm. Then I find out that 3 ways I can brainstorm better, right? So I thought, okay, that's another idea. So that's why I'm creating this podcast today called the 3 ways you can brainstorm, right? So this way, if you question your ideas, you will get more ideas. One idea generates more ideas. That's obvious, right? So you better understand this. When you can't have idea, and it will happen initially with you as well. When you're coming up with 1 or 2 or 3 ideas, question those ideas and now ask them that, hey, how it can solve my problem, how it solved my problem, how it can solve maybe others' problem. Okay, what are the value that I'm adding by saying it? Maybe it's a fun element as well, or whatever it is. And so you will find different kind of ideas out of those ideas, right? So let me summarize all the points. Schedule time and place for your ideas. So you need to schedule time on your calendar, and you need to set a place that, hey, in this place I will do the brainstorm. Number 2 point is use productive downtime when you are standing in a queue or maybe in a toilet. Try setting up environment in that way so that it is easier for you to have ideas. Point number 3 is ask question to your ideas. The more you ask question to your existing ideas, you will come up with a lot of different ideas as well. So that's it for today's podcast. If you like this podcast, don't forget to give 5 stars. And if you have any queries or message, we are ImpleBooks at Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. So that's it for today. Have a good day.